Barron Trump and the Lost Library, A Quest for Knowledge. The quiet scholar Barron Trump was not what most people expected. At 16, he was tall and lanky, with a mop of dark hair that perpetually fell into his eyes and a quiet demeanor that made him seem older than his years. Unlike the brash confidence often associated with his family, Barron preferred the company of books to the spotlight. At his prestigious boarding school, nestled in the rolling hills of upstate New York, he was known as the kid who always had a novel tucked under his arm, his nose buried in pages of history, science, or fantasy. It was a crisp autumn afternoon when Barron's life took an unexpected turn. The school's library, a grand Gothic structure with towering shelves and stained glass windows, was his sanctuary. He often lingered there after hours, helping the elderly librarian, Miss Hawthorne, sort books or dust the upper shelves. That day, as the golden light filtered through the windows, Barron was shelving a stack of dusty tomes when he noticed something peculiar. A small, ornate key, no bigger than his thumb, lay nestled between two volumes of Encyclopedia Arcana. Its surface was etched with swirling runes that seemed to shimmer faintly under the library's dim lamps. Curiosity piqued, Barron pocketed the key, intending to show it to Miss Hawthorne. But when he reached her desk, she was gone, and the library was eerily silent. He wandered the stacks, calling her name softly, but the only response was the creak of the old wooden floors. As he passed a section of the library he'd never explored, a dark corner behind a tapestry depicting a knight battling a dragon, he noticed a faint outline in the stone wall. It was barely visible, but the shape resembled a keyhole. Heart pounding, Barron inserted the key. The runes glowed briefly, and with a low groan, the wall slid aside, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. He hesitated, glancing back at the empty library. This was the kind of thing that happened in the adventure novels he loved, not in real life. But the pull of the unknown was too strong. Taking a deep breath, he stepped onto the stairs, and the wall sealed shut behind him. The lost library. The staircase seemed to spiral endlessly, the air growing cooler and tinged with the scent of old paper and earth. At the bottom, Barron found himself in a vast chamber illuminated by floating orbs of soft, golden light. Shelves stretched to a ceiling so high it vanished into shadow, each one packed with books of every size and color. Some had leather covers embossed with strange symbols, others glowed faintly or hummed with a low, musical vibration. In the center of the room stood a pedestal with a single open book, its pages blank but shimmering as if waiting to be written. Barron approached the pedestal, his footsteps echoing. As he touched the book, a voice, warm and ancient, filled the air. "Welcome, seeker of knowledge," it said. "You have found the lost library, a repository of forgotten dreams and hidden truths. These books hold the aspirations of countless souls, lost to time or doubt. You, who bear a heart of empathy, may wield their power, but only for the good of others." Barron's mind raced. Forgotten dreams? Magical books? This was beyond anything he'd ever imagined. He flipped through the pedestal's book, and words began to appear, forming a list of names, his classmates, teachers, even people from town. Beside each name was a dream, vivid and specific. Clara wants to paint a mural that captures the soul of the forest. Ethan dreams of building a machine to clean the rivers. Miss Hawthorne longs to write a novel of her youth. The voice spoke again. Choose wisely, young seeker. The library's magic can bring these dreams to life, but only through your actions. Each book you open will guide you, but beware, the path of helping others is not without challenges. Barron's first instinct was to run back upstairs and pretend this never happened. But as he read the dreams of his classmates, he felt a spark of purpose. He'd always been the quiet one, the observer. Maybe this was his chance to make a difference. Clara's canvas. Barron decided to start with Clara, a shy girl from his art class who always sketched in the margins of her notebooks. Her dream, according to the pedestal's book, was to paint a mural that would capture the essence of the nearby whispering forest. Barron found a slim, emerald green book on a nearby shelf, its cover pulsing with a soft light. When he opened it, images flooded his mind: Clara standing before a massive canvas, her hands covered in paint, the forest coming alive in vibrant greens and golds. The book whispered instructions, its pages turning on their own. Find the canvas of echoes in the forest's heart. It will reflect Clara's vision, but you must guide her there. The next day, Barron approached Clara at lunch. She was sitting alone, sketching a tree with delicate, precise lines. "Hey, Clara," he said, his voice awkward but kind. "I saw your sketches. They're amazing. Have you ever thought about painting something bigger, like a mural?" Clara blushed, pushing her glasses up her nose. "I'd love to, but I don't know where to start. And no one would care about my art anyway." Barron smiled. "What if I showed you a place where you could paint something incredible? Somewhere special?" Intrigued but skeptical, Clara agreed to follow him after school. They trekked into the Whispering Forest, a place rumored to be haunted but beloved for its ancient trees and shimmering streams. Barron followed the book's directions, leading them to a clearing where a massive, blank canvas stood inexplicably among the trees. It was framed in gnarled wood, its surface gleaming like polished glass. Clara gasped. "What is this?" "It's for you," Barron said. "Try painting something." With trembling hands, Clara dipped her brush into the paints Barron had brought, guided by the book's instructions. As she painted, the canvas seemed to drink in her strokes, the colors swirling and shifting to form a breathtaking mural of the forest, trees that seemed to sway, streams that sparkled, and animals that flickered in and out of view. Clara's eyes shone with joy, and for the first time, Barron saw her truly smile. Word of the mural spread, and soon students and teachers were visiting the forest to see Clara's work. She began painting more, her confidence growing with each piece. Barron watched from the sidelines, a quiet satisfaction warming his chest. The library's magic was real, and he had made it happen. Ethan's invention emboldened by his success with Clara, Barron turned to Ethan, a science nerd who spent most of his time tinkering in the school's robotics lab. The pedestal's book revealed Ethan's dream, to build a machine that could clean pollutants from the nearby river, which had been contaminated by an old factory upstream. Barron found a heavy, metallic book bound in copper, its pages filled with diagrams of gears and filters. When he opened it, a blueprint materialized in his mind, along with a warning: the machine requires a rare crystal from the river's source. Retrieve it, but beware the guardian. Barron approached Ethan during a lab session, where he was fiddling with a half-built drone. "Ethan, have you ever thought about cleaning up the river?" Barron asked, trying to sound casual. Ethan's eyes lit up. "All the time. I've got ideas for a filtration bot, but I'd need something to power it, something I can't find in the ascending the riverbed." Barron found himself at the river's source, a rocky outcrop where the water bubbled up from an underground spring. There, nestled among the stones, was a crystal the size of a walnut, glowing faintly blue. But as he reached for it, the air shimmered, and a figure appeared, a translucent, humanoid creature made of water, its eyes like twin pools. "The guardian who seeks the crystal of purity," it demanded, its voice like rushing water. Barron stood his ground, remembering the library's warning. "I'm Barron, and I needed to help a friend clean the river." The guardian studied him, its form rippling. "Your heart is true, but you must prove your intent. Answer this: what is the greatest pollutant of a river?" Barron thought of the factory's waste, the chemicals choking the fish. But the library's voice echoed in his mind: empathy, truth. "Fear," he said. "Fear stops people from acting to save what they love." The guardian nodded, and the crystal rolled into his hand. "Use it wisely." Back at school, Barron gave the crystal to Ethan, who incorporated it into his filtration bot. The device worked miraculously, pulling pollutants from the water and leaving it clear. The town celebrated Ethan as a hero, and he began designing more machines, his dream taking flight. Barron, again, stayed in the shadows, content to see another friend shine. The librarian's tale. Barron's next mission was personal. Miss Hawthorne, the librarian who had unknowingly led him to the key. Her dream was to write a novel about her youth, a story of love and loss in a small town. The library provided a quill that, when used, would transcribe her memories into a manuscript. But the book warned, she must face her past to write her truth. Barron found Miss Hawthorne in her office, surrounded by old photos. "Miss Hawthorne," he began gently, "I found something that might help you write that book you've always talked about." He handed her the quill, explaining its power. Her eyes filled with tears. "I've been afraid to revisit those memories," she admitted. "They hurt too much." Barron sat with her, listening as she spoke of a lost love and a life left behind. He encouraged her to write, promising to read her drafts. Over weeks, Miss Hawthorne penned her story, the quill guiding her hand. The manuscript was raw and beautiful, and when she submitted it to a publisher, it was accepted. Barron saw her smile return, her steps lighter. The cost of magic. As Barron helped more classmates, Liam, who dreamed of composing a symphony, Aisha, who wanted to start a community garden, the library's warnings grew darker. "Each dream fulfilled draws on the library's power," the voice said. "Use too much, and the library may fade." Barron wrestled with this. The library was a gift, but it came with a price. He began to limit his visits, choosing dreams carefully, focusing on those that would ripple outward, helping many. He also noticed the library changing him. His empathy deepened, his confidence grew. He was no longer just the quiet kid, he was a catalyst for change. The final quest. One name remained on the pedestal's list, his own. But the book was blank beside it. "Your dream is to find your purpose," the voice said. "You are doing so." Barron realized the library wasn't just about magic, it was about connection, about seeing others' dreams and helping them soar. He vowed to keep the library's secret, using its power sparingly, and to continue his quest in the world above. Through kindness, listening, and action, the lost library remained hidden, its orbs glowing softly, waiting for the next seeker. Barron climbed the stairs, the key warm in his pocket, ready to face the world with a heart full of purpose.